My name is Ethan Carter, and 6 months ago, if someone had told me I'd spend a week pretending to be the boyfriend of the most intimidating woman in my company, I would have laughed in their face. Not because she wasn't attractive. Trust me, Sophia Bennett was the kind of woman who could walk into a room and make every conversation stop. She was smart, successful, confident, and completely out of my league. The real reason I would have laughed? Because Sophia Bennett barely knew I existed. At least, that's what I thought. I worked as a financial analyst at Bennett Holdings, one of the largest investment firms in Chicago. At 28, I wasn't doing badly for myself. I had a decent apartment, a reliable car, a steady paycheck. But compared to Sophia, I was invisible. She was the CEO, the daughter of the company's founder, the woman whose face appeared on business magazines, the woman everyone talked about, the woman nobody dared approach, including me. The first time I met Sophia was during a quarterly meeting. She walked into the conference room wearing a navy blue suit and carrying a tablet.
No dramatic entrance.
No unnecessary attention. Yet every person in the room immediately straightened in their seat. Even the senior executives seemed nervous. Sophia didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. People listened because she expected excellence. And for almost 2 years, our interactions were limited to occasional emails and brief meetings. Then everything changed on a rainy Thursday afternoon. I was finishing a report when my office phone rang. Mr. Carter. The voice belonged to Sophia's assistant. Yes. Miss Bennett would like to see you. My stomach dropped. Nobody got called to the CEO's office unexpectedly unless something important had happened. And important rarely meant good. The elevator ride felt longer than usual. By the time I reached the executive floor, my palms were sweating. The assistant smiled politely. She's waiting. I knocked.
Come in.
Her voice was calm, professional. The same voice I'd heard dozens of times during meetings. Sophia sat behind a massive glass desk overlooking downtown Chicago. She didn't look up immediately. Instead, she finished reading something on her tablet. Then her eyes met mine. For some reason, my heart skipped. Mr. Carter. Ethan is fine. A small smile appeared. Ethan. Something about hearing my name in her voice felt strange. Dangerous. She leaned back slightly. I need a favor. Now I was confused. The CEO of a billion-dollar company didn't ask people like me for favors. Okay. She studied me carefully, almost like she was evaluating a business proposal. Then she said something I never expected. I need you to pretend to be my boyfriend. Silence. Complete silence. I honestly thought I'd misheard her. My what? Boyfriend. I blinked. Several times. Surely there had been some mistake. Maybe she meant somebody else. Maybe this was some bizarre corporate test. Maybe I was having a stroke. Sophia sighed. I know how this sounds. I don't think you do. For the first time since entering her office, she laughed. Actually laughed. And suddenly she looked less like a CEO and more like a normal woman. A very beautiful normal woman. Which somehow made the situation worse. She explained everything. Her younger sister was getting married in California. The wedding would last an entire week. Every member of the Bennett family would be there, including Sophia's grandmother. Apparently, her grandmother had spent the last 5 years trying to set her up with every eligible man on the planet. Doctors, lawyers, athletes, entrepreneurs, politicians. It never stopped. This year, Sophia said, she's arranged 3 blind dates without asking me. I almost laughed. You own a billion-dollar company. I know. And you're afraid of your grandmother. You haven't met my grandmother. Fair point. Sophia folded her hands. I need someone intelligent. I nodded. Okay. Someone reliable. Okay. Someone who can hold a conversation. Still reasonable. Then she looked directly into my eyes. And someone my family won't immediately hate. I stared. Then realization hit. Oh. Exactly. I wasn't being selected because she liked me. I was being selected because I looked presentable. For some reason, that realization stung more than it should have. Sophia continued. You'll be compensated. Compensated. That sounded safer. More professional. How much? She named a number. I nearly fell out of my chair. That amount of money would cover nearly 6 months of my rent. For 1 week. One ridiculous week pretending to be someone's boyfriend. I know it's unusual. Unusual isn't the word I'd use. She smiled again. And there it was. That smile. The one that should have come with a warning label. Against my better judgment. I agreed. The following week passed in a blur. We met several times before the trip. Not as boss and employee. As two people preparing to convince an entire family that they were in love. We created a backstory. Where we'd met. How long we'd been dating. Our favorite memories together. The details became surprisingly specific. What food do you hate? She asked one afternoon. Mushrooms. Really? Really? She typed it into her phone. Then looked up. What about you? Olives. I laughed. That's your biggest secret. You'd be surprised how many people get it wrong. Because Sophia wasn't what I expected. At all. At work she was composed. Precise. Unshakable. Outside work. She loved terrible reality television. She ordered extra fries and stole everyone else's. She laughed at stupid jokes. And occasionally snorted when something was genuinely funny. Which she denied every time. By the time our flight left for California, I found myself looking forward to spending time with her. That should have worried me. It didn't. The Bennett family estate sat on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The place looked less like a home and more like a luxury resort. The moment we arrived, chaos erupted. Relatives everywhere. Wedding planners. Photographers. Guests. Dogs running around. Children screaming. Then Sophia grabbed my hand. Without warning. Without hesitation. My entire body froze. She leaned closer. Relax. Easy for her to say. She wasn't the one trying to remember how breathing worked. Remember, she whispered. We are dating. The problem wasn't pretending. The problem was how natural it felt. For the next several hours, we played our roles perfectly. Maybe too perfectly. At dinner, she sat beside me. At family events, she held my arm. Whenever someone asked a question, she smiled before answering. And every time she smiled, I found myself forgetting this wasn't real. That night, lying awake in the guest room, I stared at the ceiling. 1 week. That's all this was. 1 week. Then everything would return to normal. At least. That's what I kept telling myself. Unfortunately, my heart had already started believing something else.